Prohibiting idolatry and blasphemy allow for a proper relationship with God. But what about the way we are to interact with other human beings? This leads us to the prohibition of murder. The prohibition of murder is explicitly given by God to Noah and all humanity in the Genesis 9 passage, but it can also be logically inferred from elsewhere in the Bible. Each person is made in the image of God, and each person has a right to their own life and to what that life produces. And since human beings were made in God's image, it is not unreasonable to think that murder, the taking of someone's life without their consent, is an affront to God, because in a way it diminishes God's own glory. As a result, God commanded, "You shall not murder." To be clear, the defense of life is legitimate, either your own or someone else's. But we should never condone murder. At the root of murder is aggression, and instead of peacefully working with others toward mutual benefit, some people seek to use force against others to achieve their own goals. To this, the Bible says, you are not to act against the life of your neighbor. A godly and moral society will not resort to using force to solve complex social problems, but instead will choose peace and non-aggression. Along those lines is the prohibition of theft. Along with murder and aggression, a godly and moral society will also seek to solve complex social problems without resorting to theft. As the Bible says, you shall not steal. Like the prohibition of murder, the prohibition of theft is also a recognition that every person is made in God's image and each person has a right to their life and to what that life produces. This means that you cannot in any way take someone's property without their permission. And this means we cannot condone outright stealing, but there are also other ways of stealing. The Bible also prohibits not paying debts, not returning stolen property, using inaccurate weights and measures in business, and not paying hired workers. Then there's the prohibition of sexual immorality. There are no prohibitions of sexual activity in the Genesis 9 passage, but God did command humanity to be fruitful and to multiply. And earlier in Genesis, God established that marriage should be between one man and one woman, forming the foundation of the family structure. It says, "A man shall leave his father and mother and be joined to his wife, and they shall become one flesh." Historically, the teachers of Israel assumed that all of the Torah's commandments concerning sexual relations applied to all people. These commandments prohibit premarital sex, extramarital sex, deviant sexual activity, and the positive commandments to practice modesty and to have a healthy marriage. There's also the prohibition against animal cruelty. In the Genesis 9 passage, God said to Noah and therefore to all humanity that every moving thing that is alive shall be food for you, only you shall not eat flesh with its life, that is, its blood. So the freedom to eat animals was a concession. It is only permissible when the animal has been slaughtered properly. We were given dominion over the animals to take care of them, not to be cruel to them. We were also given the commandment to have a court system. Laws are just words unless they can be enforced in some way, and God intends for Gentiles to set up courts. A peaceful and just society will develop ways to protect people's rights and will punish those who violate those rights. God expects us to have an orderly society, and the commandments that we explored previously in this video are the foundation of a godly society, but they are the very basics.